In Julius Caesar's 55 years on Earth, he reinvented the Roman army, conquered Gaul, mitigated a financial crisis, gave land to about 20,000 low-income families, and did much more than some have in 80 years. If you didn't know, Julius Caesar is one of the most famous ENTJs in the world, and our video today explores the ENTJ's personality type and why they are so good at solving problems. People generally know ENTJs to be strong, arrogant, and unfeeling. What you don't know is that they don't only constitute some of the greatest leaders in the world, but are revolutionary reformers as well. ENTJ traits include intellectualizing and factualizing most aspects of their lives, and for as long as the matter at hand requires a logical solution, they will rain fire and brimstones to get the job done. Their typical characteristics of dominance and extraordinary leadership skills, as well as a meticulous approach to problem solving, make them the perfect candidates for problem solving wherever they find themselves. The first reason why ENTJs are so good at problem solving is because they are quick in identifying flaws and failures. Note that a typical ENTJ strength is that they have a very high self-esteem and are likely to consider themselves the best captains on the ship. Feeling and knowing that they could do better in any given circumstance drives them to strive for perfection. So unlike others who wait to be told what to do, ENTJs are more likely to identify what needs to be fixed and launch straight into fixing it. Pretty cool if no one else wants to do the job. Otherwise, they can come off as very domineering. When a problem is identified, ENTJs quickly bring ideas to the table. Employers value ENTJs not only because they are excellent at identifying problems, but also because they're the best when it comes to focusing on the right solutions. This requires a more tactful approach, which we will discuss soon enough. Another reason why ENTJs are so good at solving problems is because they see problems as challenges that need to be surmounted. They are here for the thrill. Characterized by strong determination, it is only a matter of time before they come up with something that can solve the issue or at least mitigate the effects. They approach challenges with innovation and creative thinking. The great Margaret Thatcher once said, "Defeat? I don't recognize the meaning of that word," and that sums up how ENTJs feel anytime they encounter a problem. Identifying problems and coming up with the appropriate solution is not a skill that is easy to attain. ENTJs do this, however, by exploring their options. Some problems come with multiple solutions. However, not every solution might be appropriate at a given time. What ENTJs do therefore is to see more than one solution, analyze their options, and ask for the needed advice and support. To make the right choice, you need to weigh your options correctly. Have you ever had a challenge and didn't know the best solution? Tell us about your experience in the comment section down below. Aside from exploring their options, are ENTJs likely to recognize the implications of other actions they might take when solving a problem, especially since they are so meticulous? We'll find out soon enough. Most of us, at one point or another, have had to deal with a problem that looked like it could never be fixed. Sometimes when we are lucky enough, nature conspires and offers us some sort of luck. But for people with ENTJ personality who prefer rationality to all other superfluous beliefs, knowing the difference between a complex and simple problem is crucial. Why? Because it gives them the chance to have reasonable expectations. Understanding the whys of a situation helps paint a clearer picture of how much effort the problem needs. ENTJs are solution-driven, not time wasters. If resources are needed in solving a problem, then they are to be used. If a problem is so complex that the only way around it is to mitigate its effects, then ENTJs are here for it. They are good at problem solving because they have a fair idea of the outcome. Don't forget to subscribe down below as we move on to discuss why understanding the consequences of their actions is a major skill that helps ENTJs in problem solving. Also, ENTJs recognize that their actions could have long-term effects, and that is why they prioritize prevention over intervention. Though ENTJs are not afraid of challenges and problems, allowing them when they could have been avoided sounds really illogical to them. In a company or organization, You will realize that they tend to strongly believe in their principles and value their opinions above that of every other person, and will like to spearhead affairs with those values because they believe they are the right choices. Every good problem solver knows that prevention is better than the excruciating process of curing what could have been avoided. ENTJs will work hard and at any cost because they also realize that whatever actions are taken afterwards could have dire consequences. ENTJs are undoubtedly efficient in what they do, and that is why it comes as no surprise that most people who rule the world in business, politics, and e-commerce have this personality type. To know more about this, why don't you check out our other video titled From Buffett Gates to Jobs? Why is the world ruled by ENTJs? We'll come your way again. Enjoy the rest of your time.